How you doing, brothers and sisters? Okay, this is part one of the angel of the Lord. And showing that the angel of the Lord is Jesus Christ, our Father. It's only He Himself. Now, there is times that God sends forth one of His angels, right? Okay, because an angel of the Lord is a messenger, right? For God. But there is times in the Old Testament and the New Testament that God Himself is that angel of the Lord. Hebrews 1:1. Okay, God came in many forms, many ways. He spoke to them in many forms, many ways. But it says in Hebrews 1:1 that the Father done this. Okay, 1 Peter 1:11 shows that Jesus is the one that done this. So I will turn this around and I will let y'all see. I got 3 pages worth of notes that I'm going to make different parts of the angel of the Lord. But I thought I was going to start with the burning bush, but no, we're going to start with Genesis chapter 16 and prove that the angel of the Lord is the pre-incarnate version of God Himself. Because God was and is came in many forms. He was Melchizedek, okay, the Old Testament. But we're not going to touch on that right now, okay? But here, look at this. This right here you see with a bunch of all kinds of scriptures is just all goes together. But I'm only going to use Genesis chapter 16, verse 2, 5, 7 through 13. But all this, it's all over the Bible, okay? Genesis 22, all over, okay, to show that it's only God Himself is the angel of the Lord, okay? There's a lot of things I have to go over before I do all these scriptures. And y'all can pause that if you want. You can go over that if you want. But like, say for instance, when an angel of the Lord comes that God Himself sends forth, okay? I'll use Gabriel for instance. He identifies as Gabriel. But when we study the scriptures and see that the angel of the Lord in the Old Testament, that it was God Himself several times. Now, there might be times in the Old Testament He might send forth one of His angels and it'd be one of His angels, right? And not God. But it identifies who that angel of the Lord is in the scriptures. That is God Himself. But this is part one of the angel of the Lord. And we're going to use Genesis chapter 16. We're going to read verse 2, verse 5, then verse 7 through 13. And also, when we go to the Hebrew and even the interlinear of these verses from 7 through 13, and it shows YHWH, I probably pronounce it right or wrong, I don't know, Yotei Dvadhe, because we know the original name of God is not Yahweh. So I might just say God, okay? Simple as that. But we're gonna show who this angel of the Lord is that is speaking to Hagar. It is Sarah's concubine that she gave to Abraham because she thought she would never have a child, and she had the son named Ishmael. Okay, and also that's where you see 2 different lines of bloodlines, which Ishmael leads to the Muslims, and Isaac leads to the Jews. Verse 2 and 5. And Sarah said unto Abraham, Behold, now the Lord has restrained me from being bearing, and I pray thee, go in and unto my maiden, and it may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abram listened unto the voice of Sarah. And Sarah said unto Abram, My wrong be upon you. I have given my maid unto your bosom. And when she saw that she said she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. The Lord judged between me and you. So we know that the Lord is the one that done that. The Lord, can't get my words out. The Lord's restrained, but the Lord's the one that's going to judge. But it's Sarah, the one that's giving her concubine, okay? The reason I'm using this because it starts off, she's talking about the Lord, okay, with what's going on. Okay, she's been kicked out of the camp, Hagar has, right? So this right here, verse 7 through 13, this is the English. And the angel of the Lord found her by a fountain of water in the wilderness, by the fountain in the way of Shur. This is the Hebrew. And found her the angel of God by the spring of waters in the wilderness, by the spring on the way to Shur. So you're interested to say, oh, look, that angel it's an angel of God, it's not God. We're going to get there. Watch what happens. Verse 8, and he, the angel of the Lord, said, Hagar, Sarah's maid, whence comest you? And whither will you go? And she said, I flee from the face of my mistress Sarah. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, Return to your mistress and submit yourself under her hands. Verse 9, and said to the angel of God, return to your mistress and submit yourself under her hand. And look at this one. And the angel of the Lord said, now this is very, very key right here. The angel of the Lord said unto her, I will multiply your seed exceedingly, that it shall not be numbered for multitude. Genesis-16:10, and said to her, the angel of God, multiplying, I will multiply your seed, so that not they shall be counted for a multitude. And it's gonna get more deeper, but right there you should know that a normal angel is not gonna be able to multiply no seed. Okay, this is God Himself speaking to Hagar. Okay. Verse 11, and the angel of the Lord said unto her, behold, you are with child, and you shall bear a son, and shall call his name Ishmael, because the Lord has heard your affliction. Verse 11 here in the Hebrew, and said to her, the angel of God, behold, you conceiving, and you shall bear a son, and you shall call his name Ishmael, for has listened God to your affliction. Verse 12, and he will be a wild man, his hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him, and he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. Verse 13 is key, is where it's at. 13, and she called the name of the Lord that spoke unto her, you, God, seest me, for she said, have I heard also here looked after him that seeth me. Here's the Hebrew, and she called the name of God who spoke to her, you, El Roy, I probably butchered that if I did, sorry. For she said, was it indeed here I have seen after him who sees me? So God is the one who spoke to her. Look at this right here. This El right here, God, mighty one. Okay? God. It is He Himself. El, God. I'm probably butchering that, brothers and sisters, my bad, but I got that southern accent. Seeing, vision, sight. So, appearance, seeing, okay? I mean, it is He Himself. It is very clear that the one who spoke with her, the angel of the Lord, was God who spoke with her. Elroy, God, okay? She is seeing Him, okay? That's seen after her. So, the angel of the Lord, when you just keep reading, verse 13 shows that the angel of the Lord is God Himself. Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh. Okay? It is He Himself. El, God. He is the one that's seen. He is the one that heard Hagar. He is the one that spoke to Hagar. Hebrews 1:1 says He came in many forms, spoke in many ways to the prophets of old. But it says the God, the Hatheos. Go look at the Greek. Okay? 1 Peter 1:1 says that Jesus, the Spirit of Christ, is the one that spoke to the prophets of old. Okay? So Revelation 22 verse 6 talks about the Hatheos, the God, the Lord God is going to send forth his angel, right? But then in verse 16 it says, I, Jesus, have sent my angel, right? But then in Revelation chapter 1 verse 1, we see the revelation of Jesus Christ, which the Father gave unto Him to show unto His servants things which must shortly come to pass, and He sent and signified it by His angel unto His servant John. But who's the one that spoke in the very first 3 chapters to John? It wasn't a mere angel. It was God Himself, because John is seeing Jesus, and I went over this in another video. But he sees Jesus, and it is he says at the end of every time he talks to the church, he said, "He who has an ear hears the Spirit saith." So God Himself. So in Genesis-16 verse 13 proves that the angel of the Lord from verse 7 is Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh. It is God Himself. It is Jesus our Father. Hey, but back in the day, He wasn't known as Jesus. He was known as the I Am. He was known as God Himself. I Am. So, but He came in many pre-incarnate forms. And God came in pre-incarnate forms. What Hebrews 1:1 says, that He came in many ways, many pre-incarnate forms. He was a spirit. God is a spirit, but He came as a spirit. He came as the angel of the Lord. He came as Melchizedek. Okay? But this is part 1 of the angel of the Lord. That's showing that Jesus Christ is our Father, who is the angel of the Lord in the Old Testament that appeared to Hagar, and even appeared to Abraham. In Genesis-18 and Genesis-19, one God did. Okay, the other 2 was angels. But we could probably get to that too. But what I just wanted to show this in Genesis-16, that it is God Himself who is the angel of the Lord. Verse 13 shows it very clearly. So, Pray you enjoyed that, brothers and sisters. And I got so many verses that you've seen. We're going to do a lot of parts on this. It's gonna be a long parts. But Jesus Christ is Lord. God bless you all, brothers and sisters.